Again, welcome to John's Jazz Joint. We're going to be looking at a musician with the very unusual name of Hoagy Carmichael. Hoagy is not a common name, but it came from the fact that when he was uh, being carried by his mother, they were also being host to a circus family by the name of the Hoaglands. And so when Hoagy was born, they gave him the name of the circus pack group, the Hoaglands. So Hoagland became Hoagy, and his second name Howard was after his father Howard Carmichael. The father was not a fully employed man. He used to be a taxi cab driver when the taxis were being pulled by horses. And then a little later on, he became an electrician, but before there was a great call for electricity. So we're talking about the turn of the century. Hoagy Carmichael was born in 1899 and he lived until 1981. So for 82 years, he had a full life. In his early days, he was marked by the fact that he had two sisters, and the youngest one, Joyce, became ill by an influenza that was going through the country back in that day. And because they were too poor to afford a doctor or to afford a hospital, unfortunately, she died. And this had a lasting impression on Hoagy. He was determined never to be poor again. So in his early years, he worked construction. He worked in a bicycle chain factory, and he worked in an abattoir. He did a lot of things to raise money. And as a consequence, he completed high school, went on to university, the University of Indiana, and even got a law degree. So, up to that point in time, he was pretty much driven by the fact that he didn't want to be poor. He had been taught to play the piano by his mother. She was a person who played at the theaters during the movies and at parties, and so she passed this love of the piano on to Hoagy. And this stood him in great stead as he moved through his life because it became the alternative to law. He found out as he moved along that he was not a very good lawyer. In fact, he failed the bar exam in Florida. He was able to pass it in Indiana, but then again, not being totally committed to it, it's not surprising that he was fired. And he kind of closed the door on his law career and turned his attention fully to music. Well, what music are we looking at today? Really, two pieces of music from 1928 and 1929. In 1928, he composed the music Stardust. Now, this is without lyrics, and so it kind of asks the question, which comes first, the music or the words? For many of us, the words are more important because they're the message of the song, but it's like a house, it has to have a foundation, and the music is the foundation. So just like George and Ira Gershwin that we featured a few months ago, George provided the foundation, the music, Ira provided the words. And in this case, Hoagy Carmichael, in a few cases, and one that we're going to be looking at today, he provided both the foundation and the house, rocking chair. But this very first piece of music, when he composed in 1928, did not get words until 1931, when the music company that he was working for hired a fellow by the name of Mitch Parrish to provide words. And so the total package of the song Coal Dust didn't really become public until 1930, 31, 32. And, Louis Armstrong and Bing Crosby and a whole bunch of people brought it into prominence. We're going to start today, first of all, with the instrumental part of Stardust, and then we'll add Mitch Parrish's lyrics to it. Hope you enjoy it. Stardust from 1928 by Hoagy Carmichael. So there you have the instrumental version by Hoagy Carmichael. And a couple of years later, as I was mentioning, Mitch Parrish added the following words to it. And now the purple dusk of twilight time steals across the meadows of my heart. High up in the sky, the little stars climb, always reminding me that we're apart. You wander down the lane and far away, leaving me a song that will not die. Love is now the stardust of yesterday, the music of the years gone by. Sometimes I wonder why I spend the lonely night dreaming of a song, the melody haunts my reverie, and I am once again with you. When our love was new, and each kiss an inspiration, but that was long ago. Now my consolation is in the stardust of a song beside a garden wall. When stars are bright, you are in my arms. The nightingale tells his fairy tale of paradise where roses grew. Though I dream in vain, in my heart it will remain, the stardust melody, the memory of love's refrain. So the gist of the lyrics is basically that when love ends, there's still memories that linger from it, just like when a car passes on a dusty road and you have dust following the disappearance of the car. Well, when love disappears, there's still the dust, of the starlight, the emotions that you felt at the time of the romance. So that was one look at Hoagy Carmichael and also Mitch Parrish. As I said, it was a song that basically became his big hit song. But you know, later in life, when he was in his 80s and he was invited to a gala affair to perform one of his songs, he didn't choose Stardust, which is surprising. Instead, he chose the next song, a song which he put the music to and also put the words to. So we're going to do that song next because it became in a very important way because it was recorded shortly after by Louis Armstrong. And when the Great Depression struck and all of Hoagy's money, like so many other people's money, disappeared in the stock market crash of 1929, because Louis Armstrong had recorded this rocking chair, Hoagy Carmichael continued to receive royalties from it, and that sustained him, even though he had a low-paying job as a songwriter. But this royalty money was very welcome. So this next song, music and words by Hoagy Carmichael, is called "Rocking Chair." Old rocking chair's got me cane by my side. Fetch me that gin, son, for I tan your hide. Can't get from this cabin, go nowhere. Just sit here grabbing at the flies round my rocking chair. My dear old Aunt Harriet, in heaven she be, send me sweet chariot for the end of these troubles I see. Old rocking chair gets it, Judgment Day is here, chained to my old rocking chair. So, rocking chair then sort of is the other bookend to the story of the early part of Hoagy Carmichael's life. Motivated largely by the death of his younger sister and the idea that he had to earn a living, and perhaps became a lawyer maybe to avoid manual work, who knows. At any rate, we're going to do our look at Hoagy Carmichael in three parts. This has been the first part up to the year 1930, and in the next session we will take a look at the years that he spends in New York, and then after that in Hollywood. So looking forward to having you with us. This is John and Lisa bidding you farewell, and looking forward to meeting with you next time round. Bye now.